Alright, so I had forgotten to show you what the bike looked like before, but I will. So here it is, the Kx65. I have taken off all the plastics and the gas tank and the exhaust. As you can see, the gas tank's here, exhaust is here. The plastics I put somewhere else because I'm not going to be using them anymore. I just drained the coolant. Yeah, there was already oil in there, don't worry. So now I think I'll take the radiator off. Yes, I think I'll take the radiator off. Probably the carburetor and the air box, and probably the wheels, the tires and everything, and the handlebars and the forks and the swing arm, then the motor. So yeah, this is how she's looking now. This is an 04. So the frame was actually originally gray. So somebody either spray painted or powder coated, I don't know. They made it this green color, which I don't like. So I'm gonna be changing that. And I have new plastics, new graphics, and a new rebuild kit for it. So got a bunch of little things for it, so hopefully it will turn into a really nice bike. But yeah, this is how she's looking right now, so I'll show you once I take some more stuff off. All right, so as you can see, I got the radiator off, all the hoses, and the carburetor. And also, one thing I just wanted to point out, a little tip, is I always put a ratchet strap or something around the thing, so as I'm moving around, it's not like, you know, it's not wobbling as much. It's actually going to stay there, especially once I start taking things off and it's going to get unbalanced. It won't try to fall. But also get yourself one of these things. These things are awesome. Well, as you can see, I might have gotten a little carried away. In the picture or the video, the frame looks pretty good, but as you can see, it's all crappy, and I just don't like the green because that's not what it's supposed to be. So since the last thing, I think I've taken I took the airbox out, I took the back wheel, the front wheel, the chain, and the swing arm, which all the stuff's right here. Swing arm, rear brake, rear shock, axles, and all that, and that's like pipe, gas tank, radiator. Here's the airbox. Here's a piece of the subframe. So yeah, this is really easy. If I'm being honest, I'm probably 2 hours in right here, which time is flying. All I really need to do now is just take off, you know, the front, the handlebars, which I just got the handlebars loose, so I'm just gonna take off all the controls and all that. Once I get that off, I'll take off the forks, take off the front brake, and then I'll just pull the motor, and that should pretty much be it. I'm sure there's a couple other things, you know, like the pegs and stuff like that, and this linkage back here I still have to take off. But other than that, yeah, this is pretty easy. All right, so here I got the frame. As you can see, I have been removing the paint. You can see the nice bare, oop, that almost fell. All the nice bare metal here. What I do is I take this torch, I heat it up for 10 seconds, and then I just take this wire brush here and just brush it, and it comes right off. The heat just weakens the paint a lot. So you can see that's complete nice bare metal. So I'll show you once I have all the paint off. Finally got all that paint off. Took about 8 hours. That was a lot. I mean, you can kind of see that there's still some paint in these little areas, but I can't get to them, especially with wire brush. I'm not too concerned about it because you're not going to be seeing it, and I'm pretty sure that this paint that I'm going to use sticks to old paint just fine. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, it looks pretty good. And I got the brake too, so I'm gonna paint that. Not sure what color I'm gonna paint that yet, but yep, that's how she's looking right now. I guess I'll show you when I get the first coat of primer on. All right, there she is. That was the last coat of primer. I just did 2 coats. That's all I should really need, but I'm gonna let it dry for a couple days because it says you can either start painting it after 1 hour or 48 hours. And since this is just a bike, you know, I want it to be good. I want the paint to be really durable. So I'm either gonna wait at least 24 hours, maybe 48, we'll see. But the white does look kind of cool though, but this is just the primer, so we'll see. All right, so that's the first coat. It's an interesting color. It's not even paint technically. It's a textured paint. It's gonna look like that when it's done. So it's kind of like a clear coat with speckles in it. It's not actually colored. It's just the little black speckles in it is what gives it the color. So it's gonna take a lot of coats. All right, so that's the frame. What do you guys think of that color? This took a lot of work, about 8 hours of paint stripping, multiple coats of primer, and then I used that textured paint. I did about 5 cans of that paint, and it still ended up being too gray. So I just took a black paint and painted right over it and just dusted it. So now it's a nice dark black, but you could still see the texturedness. So my goal with this was, if you've ever seen like a Kx100 frame or a Kx112 or an 85, like those newer frames, they're like a slightly textured black, which is like pretty much exactly what I have going on here. All right, so I just got the motor cleaned up here. As you can see, I have not cleaned the cylinder because I'm going to put that in the ultrasonic cleaner. I still need to clean it just a little bit more, but this is good enough just so I can take it apart. I have a new intake manifold because this one's cracked. I have a cylinder ball hone, and I have a Wiseco piston in a gasket set for the top end. So we're going to tear it apart real quick. Start with the head. All right, just got the top off here. That one stud ain't looking too spiffy. Neither is this head. So I got some pitting there. You're supposed to replace these when that happens, but honestly, it's probably fine. But it doesn't look too bad in there. Looks like it might be the same piston that I'm putting in. It might be a Wiseco, but I'll take the cylinder off next. I don't think it's supposed to loosen that easy. All right, got that cylinder off, piston. Doesn't look bad. It probably didn't need to be changed, but I figured, you know, since I'm doing it, might as well. But you know, there's some light scratches on there. It's got a hot rod crank. Crank doesn't look too bad. You know, it looks pretty new. And then inside the cylinder here, it's just a little dirty. Does not look like there's anything concerning going on. Looks pretty good. Just like I said, that little cylinder head thing concerns me a little bit, but I would assume it's probably blown up one point, and they probably did the crank, because that's obviously not the stock crank. Probably did a top end, just never changed the head. But other than that, everything looks good. I'll just get this gasket off here, toss that in the ultrasonic cleaner, toss the head in the ultrasonic cleaner, and slap the new piston on. After I'm done, well, actually, I think I'll hone the cylinder first, and then do the ultrasonic cleaner to get all the particles out from the metal after honing it. And then, yeah, slap the new gaskets on, the piston in. Got to measure the new ring gaps in the cylinder. I'll show you how to do that. But yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. Nothing too concerning. All right, so here's the hone. It's on a standard Milwaukee drill. Here's the cylinder. I used some starting fluid here just to kind of clean out the inside. Just wiped it out with a lint-free rag towel thing, just to get all the dirt, you know, debris out of there. And you can use 10W30 instead of honing oil. So I just got myself a little cap here, but you're actually supposed to soak this thing, not like dip it in, just like drizzle oil on it. So here I've just got some 10W30 Honda oil, and I guess I'll I'll lay down a paper towel here and let's see, just kind of dump the oil on there, you know. Ooh, that's kind of a lot. And kind of dip it in the oil here on the towel. Alright, I'd say that's pretty well covered. And then I will put some here just on the inside the cylinder. Really make sure it's lubed up because you don't want to run it dry. So now that I got that all nice and lubed up, and I'm dripping oil everywhere, of course, that's annoying. So basically, you want to start with forward motion, and you don't ever want to stop moving it. So basically just kind of I just got my hand in there, probably like this. Alright, so I'll wipe that out. It's definitely got some crap on there. Give it a little quick wipe out and see how it looks. Alright, so I had to hone it in reverse too. I did it one more time, and you can see it's not like perfect, but I mean you can still kind of see that cross hatching a little bit. And I don't really, in person you could definitely see it better, but I don't want to go any more than that, honestly, because I don't want to risk ruining it. But I mean there's still, like, you know, a little bit of crap in there that I'm gonna wash out. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'll put in the ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll slap this thing back together. So doing piston ring gap, you take your one piston ring, put it in there, and take your piston, and then just kind of push it down in there just a little bit, make it even. And then you take a feeler gauge here. It's supposed to be between 0.15 millimeters and 0.35 millimeters. You just take your feeler gauge, put it in there, and we'll see what that reads. Alright, so after checking both rings, they were both right about 0.25 millimeters, which is right in between. So it looks like our cylinder is good, our ring gap is good. So I'll put the rings on the piston and we'll start putting this thing back together. Alright, I got the piston rings on, as you can see. In the instructions, it doesn't say anything about which side goes up. It just said it shouldn't matter unless it's instructed otherwise. And from what I remember, you always have the marked side up, as you could see right there. There's like a little, let's see if it'll focus. Right there, there's like some numbers. I think it says N50. I believe those go up. But I mean, as long as it can compress all the way, it should be fine. So I've seen people where they either put the piston on the rod first, or some people, what they do is they'll compress the rings and put the piston through in the bottom of the cylinder first, and then put the whole thing on there and then put the pin through, just because when this is on there, sometimes compressing the rings can be really hard. So I think I'll put the piston in there, because I've tried both and I think this way might be the easiest. We'll see. Alright, so this is what I was trying to say. So you put the piston in first, as you can see it's in there. I put the one clip on the one side, the SIR clip, have the pin pushed in just a little bit, have the little bearing in there. And now I'm just gonna put this on here, slide the pin through, with a wrist pin through the rod here. And then the hardest part will just be getting the second SIR clip back on this side. But I think it's a lot easier than starting with the piston on here and having to try to compress the rings while sliding down the cylinder. It's so much easier just to compress the rings with your fingers and push it right into the bottom of the cylinder. But yeah. Alright, got her all back together. Got the new intake boot on there. I mean, she's she's got some compression now, you can hear it. So yeah, that thing looks nice and shiny and everything. I think I might put it in the frame now. Look at that. That looks so good. I am so surprised on how well that came out. I mean, that, a lot of people were probably like, oh, you should have painted it green, or oh, you should have kept it the same color. I bet a lot of people would not approve of that. But I think that looks amazing. That ultrasonic cleaner really does good. I mean, look at that cylinder, the head, the spark plug, the carburetor, all that was ultrasonic cleaner. That thing looks nice, but I mean, whew, I'm really glad I chose that color. Now, I got a lot of cleaning ahead of me. Like, look at all of that. Oh, I'm dreading doing all this, all of that, this. Oh, nah. I don't wanna. But, yeah. Slowly just start putting stuff together. The swing arm, though, I'm not gonna strip the paint off. 8 hours of doing the frame, I can't take anymore. I'm just gonna use a primer. Just go right over this, clean it really good, take these stickers off, prime it, and then paint it, whatever I can get close to that silver or gray, whatever you want to call it, because I want to keep that the same. But yeah, she's looking good. I'm excited. So as you can see, I'm slowly just cleaning parts, putting them back on. Got the steering on. Radiator, I just put it on, I shined it up with the wire wheel. So you can see, cleaned up all the electrical parts. You see that right there though? You see that logo? That's it's a car brand. I cannot pronounce it. It's like Mitsubishi, something like that, you know. They're the ones that make Kawasaki's electronics, because it says right there in that little CDI thing. And then you probably can't see it, but on the coil too. Yeah, no, you can't see that, but it's on there too. But everything's coming together pretty good. Just cleaned up some more parts and ultrasonic cleaner. Got like the radiator and then exhaust, fins, whatever. Got the coolant lines and some parts for the suspension. As you can see over there, I am painting the spring. It used to be gray, I'm gonna paint it black. And I have cleaned up like the shock and all that. So yeah, everything's going pretty good so far. Well, right here, I'm just rebuilding the shock. As you can see, got it all painted, clear coated. She's ready to go. Get that all good, and then I'll start showing you more things that I'm gonna be putting on the bike. All right, she's looking good. Got handlebar on, clutch on, throttle on. She's looking good. Got the shock on, as you can see. New carb lines. She's looking good. Well, as you can see, she's coming together even more. Just got the front wheel on and the front brake system on. What's taking so long is mostly just because I've been waiting for a new brake caliper for the rear, because one of the bolts, okay, so basically I'm trying to replace these brake pads because they got no meat left on them. And I look and that's what I see. You can see the one bolt right here, and look at the other one. Someone tried drilling it out because they must have stripped it. So I can't get the freaking brake pads out. That's no wonder they're like that. So I'm just gonna order a new brake caliper. But once I get that, be able to put the back end on. I'll put the chain on because I got the new sprocket on there and here. The tires on it were already pretty new. I just shined up the rims. You can see the blue line still on there. And then the front tire also, you can still see like this like little purple red line there. So I shined up the rims a little bit, got all that cleaned up for the front and the rear. I might polish this up a little bit more, or I might just put a sticker over it, I'm not sure. But everything's being greased, lubed, everything that it needs. New front rear wheel bearings, you know. It's all looking real good. I'm about to put the exhaust on, put my kill switch on, and then I'll just wait for my caliper, then I'll install the new brake pads, bleed them, put the rear wheel back on and start putting more cosmetic stuff on, so that'll be pretty fun. Well, it's starting to get dark, so I have put on the air box, the new air filter, the gas tank. It's kind of hard to see, but I do have the exhaust on. So the only bad thing about this whole build is the gas tank looks pretty bad, but the graphics should cover up the spots that you see. And I'll try cleaning it more, but yeah, she's coming together good. Yeah, like I said, the front brakes, those work really nice. Clutch, nice. Put a new kill switch on it. Wired it up into there. She's looking real good, but yeah. Just got to get my new rear brake assembly. Put the back tire on. Put the chain on. Then from there, it's gonna be really easy, just doing plastics and grips and just giving it one more cleanup, and then yeah, we'll get a first startup on it. Oh yeah, she's coming together well. So from the last video, all I did was put on these new foot pegs. Yeah, I put on the shrouds, and I put on the front fender and front number plate. That's all I did. And then the seat, obviously, I'm still, I'm waiting on my rear caliper. As you guys know, still waiting on that. And then I'm waiting on my rear fender because I ordered a new one because my old one, I could clean it up, but I don't like those zip ties. You'll be able to see that real easy, so. Waiting for my rear fender. Then I'll put my, once I get my caliper, I'll put that on, bleed the brakes, put my rear wheel on, put the chain on, put everything back on, and then put the rear fender on, then the seat on, and then still got to put the grips on. Other than that, she's real nice. I put coolant in it, put oil in it. It takes about 17 quart, or not quarts, that'd be crazy, ounces. But yeah, she's looking real good. Still just gotta wait. Oh, and the graphics. That's what's really gonna make this bike look good. Plus the hour meter. I might put the hour meter here because it's also a tachometer, which means it reads the RPMs. So I already have the wire ready to go. I'm just thinking here, instead of having it like on the side of the frame where most people put it, because wouldn't it be cool to see your RPMs? Just like this YZ250 right here. You can look at your hours and look at your RPMs, which is the, this is the same one that I got for this puppy. So yeah, she's looking real good. All right, so a lot has changed since the last time we saw it. I did get the caliper in, so you can see it's all nice and shiny and new. Bled the brakes, put the rear wheel on, changed the front pads because these already came with pads, so now I have an extra pair. Adjusted the, or put the chain on, adjusted just perfectly. I mean, just look at that thing. Look at that frame. Oh yeah, the new lines look good on the carb. I still have graphics for it. I'm not sure if I even want to put them on, because I mean, this thing's brand new. Look at the pipe, the engine, all of that. Everything's torqued down to the torque specs. New grips, everything. And look at that right there. Here's our tachometer. Mounted it to the handlebar. Hour meter, tachometer. We'll have to do a first startup on it. Gotta get to that fuel thing. Yeah, that choke's a little stiff. I need to put some oil on it or some grease. Oh yeah, we'll also get to see if that tachometer works. But let's see how good I did with the rebuild. it too long. I want to do my heat cycles and all that stuff, you know. I'll show you how to do that, but she fired right up for being first time, you know, rebuild. So yeah, she runs good, it looks good. I could not be happier with this thing. Like, I don't know if I want to put graphics on it, because this thing just looks so clean, doesn't it? All right, so that wraps it up for the 2004 Kawasaki Kx65 build, restoration, whatever you want to call it. So I'll just do a quick overview of everything I did. So as you guys know, tore down the frame, painted it, primed it, clear coated, all that, blah, blah, blah. Rebuilt the engine, did the top end. Every single part, bolt, everything has been shined up with a wire wheel and then clear coated to make sure it's not gonna rust. Is, you know, all those bolts are all nice and shiny. It has got new wheel bearings on the front and rear, new brake pads front, rear, new rear caliper, new handlebars, new grips, new kill switch, new hour meter. Can't think of anything else. Oh yeah, new seat, new plastics. I decided to leave it no graphics. So yeah, that's how she turned out. I think it looks really good. I tried to make it look like a new bike just without the graphics. To me, it looks like a 2022. Couldn't tell the difference. So let me know what else I should do. It is for sale right now. Let me know if you guys think I should do another bike build. This is the first time I've ever done this before. I'm just a kid, and I thought it was pretty fun. This 250 here, this is a fully built one that was built by a dealership, in case you guys were wondering, and then that's a 450, that's mine. This is my brother's. So yeah, what do you guys think I should build next? I'll definitely do another one. I would appreciate it if you guys could like and subscribe this video, and yeah, let me know what you guys think.